March marks 1 year since the COVID pandemic shook our world and changed our lives as we know it. Mid-month last year, our province went into a state of emergency and we saw lockdowns and mass panic and widespread predictions that our housing market would see double-digit price declines. Standing here 1 year later, it's safe to say that no one knew what was in store for us. And no one accurately predicted that we'd actually see the opposite effect, and 1 year later we'd see double-digit price gains across many submarkets. I'm Adina Dragasanu, Open Realty, with your March 2021 market update. Let's jump right into the stats and take a look at what happened in February relative to what happened pre-pandemic last year. February sales were up 56% relative to January, and they were up 73% relative to February of last year. And now if you remember, February of last year, sales were already up 45% relative to the year before. So it was a very strong month. And if we look at this relative to the 10-year sales average, we see that sales were up 43% over the 10-year average. So it was one of the busiest Februarys we've seen on record. While buyers continue to become more active in today's market, many sellers have cautiously stayed on the sidelines. And as a result, supply is lagging behind demand, and this is what's causing the upward pressure on prices. Let's take a look and see what's happening with inventory. While the pace of new listings has started slowly increasing, it just hasn't been enough to keep up with demand. And overall, total inventory in the market has remained flat relative to January, and it's down 9% relative to February of last year. And we see this reflected in our sales to active listings ratio, which is our leading indicator showing if prices are on their way up or down. Currently, our sales to active listings ratio for the region is at 45%. This is double what it was this time last year when it was at 23%. And if you remember, anytime we see this ratio over 21%, we start seeing upward pressure on prices. The biggest changes we've seen are in the detached and townhome segments, where the ratio is more than double what it was this time last year. For detached, the ratio is currently at 42%, townhomes are at 62%, and condos are at 42%. Now let's take a look at how this has played out in price increases. The MLS HPI benchmark price has gone up 3% relative to January, and it's up 7% relative to February of last year. If we look at this broken down by property types, we see that detached homes in Metro Vancouver have increased 14% relative to last year, townhomes have increased 7% relative to last year, and condos have increased 2.5% relative to last year. But the biggest changes in prices has actually been in less populated communities within the region. For example, if we look at Bowen Island, they've seen a 34% increase in prices. Sunshine Coast, 33%, West Vancouver, 16%, Maple Ridge, 15%, and Ladner, 14%. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you own property, especially in the detached segment, and have been thinking of selling, now are the best conditions we've seen in over a year to take advantage of the market and sell for the highest price. If you're thinking of buying or selling in the coming months, be sure to get in touch and we could set up a consultation to help you get ahead in today's market. In the meantime, make sure to follow us on Instagram and stay up to date with what's going on in the market. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. Can't wait to see you in April.